Well, today's property player has global ambitions. He holds sway over 15 million square feet of real estate worth $5 billion. And here in New York, he's giving the Brooklyn waterfront a facelift with plans for a new shopping center in Bensonhurst and also an amusement park in Coney Island. Joe Sitt is the chief executive of Thor Equities. Joe, great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Now, you just came back from a round the world trip, right?
Yes.
You went to Europe, Asia, the Middle East? Latin America. Okay, so what were you doing there? What were you looking for?
Two things, two perspectives. One, looking for opportunities, new opportunities to invest, see where things are in terms of the local marketplace globally. And number two, meeting with corporate executives, CEOs from around the world in terms of looking at where their real estate goals are, particularly in the real estate business, in terms of where they want to invest their capital and where they view the next horizon for investing their money. So what'd you find out then? First of all, I got shocked by a few things.
Okay.
I heard of markets that I would have never expected. One of the examples I would give is Tehran, Iran. I must have heard 5 different retailers say that they want to open up stores in Iran.
Really?
Which really shocked me. Also demand for Venezuela, Ecuador. You know, people talking about their best stores, some of them being in Russia.
So these are retailers that you talk to then?
Retailers as well as general consumer products, corporate executives as well. And it just was so fascinating. You know, as much as we hear about it and we talk to it, there's nothing like going out there and touching it and getting perspective and how quickly the world is changing. You know, the rebalancing of the emerging markets and even frontier markets. You can call Tehran that. Also Nigeria, South Africa, fascinating, the increasing demand for products.
But Joe, aren't they all going to tell you, though, that in their own countries there's great demand? I mean, how do you know that what they're saying is backed by real data?
Okay, the examples I'm giving you aren't from within those countries. In other words, the demand, let's say, to open up shops in Nigeria is actually coming from a European retailer. The demand for shops in Russia is coming from a Latin American retailer, just as 2 examples. So it's real hard facts. And many of them showed me examples of performance of their stores in Saudi Arabia and performance of their stores in Russia. So I've gotten to see the numerical, and it's very much true.
So someone who manages all this real estate and owns all this real estate, where are you going to put your money then after coming back from this trip?
We've been believers for a long time in terms of the high street retail, which is mostly first within the developed markets like New York, San Fran, Miami, London, Paris, because you've got so many emerging market consumers that are starting to travel for the first time, as well as the fact that the luxury side of the market is performing so much better than the moderate and lower income sides of the marketplace. So I think we'll continue to do that, one. 2 is technology is doing really, really well, and so we'll continue to invest strong in tech markets. For example, San Francisco, we're a big believer in that area. Energy, oil prices still up, while soft a little. So Texas is performing well here domestically in the United States. And we'll also do some emerging markets. We're active in Mexico, we're active in Brazil,
But are you ready to pull a trigger, let's say on a development or on a project overseas?
For sure. We're actually doing 2 interesting projects. One, we're redeveloping the main thoroughfare, the 5th Avenue of Mexico. It's called Mazarik in Polanco. We've been very active there in Mexico, and the performance has been really, really good. And then another exciting project that we're about to launch is what's called Burlington Arcade in London. It's right in the heart of Mayfair, bounded by Bond Street, Piccadilly, and Burlington Gardens. We just hired a world-famous architect named Peter Marino, who does the Chanel's, Louis Vuittons. He's phenomenal. And we'll be redeveloping that asset as a global centerpiece tourist destination. What
about here in the U.S., though? I mean, I'm told that you're a bit concerned about the mall space, right?
I'm extremely concerned about what I would call the heartland of our country, both from a retail perspective as well as economic. People are hurting, and it's reflected in those retail stores. Jobs are tough. You know, as I've said for many, many months, I didn't believe the numbers. They ended up restating them. Jobs is tough. The consumer's being pinched by higher costs.
Somebody's trying to get you.
Yeah.
Maybe they're watching you right now.
I think I better turn this off. I would say that the heartland's being pinched by being over-retailed, a tough economy, and an internet that's pinching the marketplace as well, creating too much retail. But the cities are performing well and continuing to perform really well.
So the urban areas are good, but it's really the heartland that you're concerned about with the demand there. Okay, Joe, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Joe Sitt of Thor Equities.